This is the Padua Podcast Network. Well, I'm glad you asked, or I'm glad that I was able to telepathically receive that question from you. Running a Fever, episode 204, One Break, coming up. Welcome to Running a Fever. My name is Michael Davis. I love my life so much, I want to make it last as long as I possibly can make it last. And that's what I want for you too. This is a podcast about fitness, diet, and medicine. And we talk about all of these things, and it's my journey to better health and hopefully better health for you as well. One break coming up. So here's what's going on. I wanted to take an episode and just explain to you what's going on in the near future for Running a Fever. I am going to take a break in the release schedule for the Running Fever podcast. Now, it's been 2 years now, so congratulations on 2 years. As a listener, congratulations on 2 years. When I started the show in late 2017, it was actually, I think the first episode was the 11th of November, and today is, I believe, the 14th of November. So we just passed that 2-year mark. I was recording every single day, and that, wasn't a good idea. I was exercising every single day, recording every single day, but I was only releasing once a week, and I was just starting and kind of building up the catalog of episodes before I started releasing them. And I was trying to decide what that release schedule was going to look like. And it worked out to be, because I was recording while I was exercising and I was talking about my own personal journey, I was able to record quite a bit and stay ahead. And I decided to not go for, I started initially with a weekly release schedule, and then I decided to change that to a twice weekly release schedule. And that is what it's been for the last almost 2 years. I think we started that twice a week schedule in February of 2018. So 204 episodes in. So far, I've not stopped that release schedule. It's been every Wednesday, every Friday. I've even introduced, I've even released some episodes on Monday as extra episodes. So why am I stopping now? I mean, if I've been able to produce 2 episodes every week all this time, well, I'm kind of at the end of the line. I've had a few things come up this year that have interrupted my workflow, and a lot of things have changed. For one thing, I'm no longer just talking about what's going on with me. I'm doing research and finding things that I want to learn about and that I want to help you learn about and intrigue you and get you to go out and learn more about. I've had, listeners to give comments and say, ask me a question about this particular thing. And I'd say, okay, I'm going to go research that and have an episode on it. So I love doing that kind of thing. And it's been, more interesting to me to do that along with the journey that I'm on, because it's all part of it. Learning is a big part of this journey. Every journey is kind of a learning opportunity. It takes a little more. And plus, I haven't been exercising for one reason after another throughout this year. I haven't been able to exercise the way that I wanted to. And so getting out on the trail and talking, which is when I like to record the podcast, it just helps me. It helps me with the exercise, and it helps me with my process of, thinking and talking all at the same time about what's going on. So I haven't been able to do that. And so as a result, I've kind of come really close to deadline on the last couple of episodes. And I want to spend more time and I want to definitely have a good episode and not just kind of come to the mic and say, well, it's Friday, so here's the next episode. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but here it is. I know that you deserve better than that. You want more than that. Although, I would love to just talk to you about what's going on. First of all, I want to assure you that, let me just first explain exactly what's going to happen. Okay. I am taking a break from the release schedule. And I have taken breaks before, like I said, where I've not recorded for a while, but I've had so many pre-recorded episodes that I haven't had to interrupt the release schedule. So what I'm going to do is there will not be regular twice weekly episodes for a while. And I'm not sure exactly how long, but I am going to give a deadline for us, and that would be the first Wednesday in June. The first Wednesday in June is the latest that I will start back on a regular schedule. The second thing is that schedule is now going to be weekly. So there will be a weekly release of an episode for Running a Fever, not twice weekly. Not to say that there might be additional episodes that come in and you might have more than one episode per week. That is possible. But the regular release schedule will be once every week. So, whenever I resolve, the kind of constraints that I have right now is when I will get back on a regular schedule. But I'm relatively certain that will not, that it will not take through June. I think the situations that I'm working on right now are going to be resolved in the next couple of months. And I'm still working on the podcast. I mean, I haven't just dropped everything. I've got several episodes that I've already recorded and just haven't produced yet. I have a whole series coming up on the history of fitness. I have another series coming up on hydration. I've got those that are, I've got episodes that are written that I haven't recorded yet. I've got episodes that are recorded that I haven't produced yet. I've got ideas that haven't been fleshed out into full episodes, written or outlined is what I do. I don't actually write a script. So there's all this stuff going on, and I'm still working on it. I'm still recording. I'm still researching. I'm still writing up these episodes. I'm still continually working on it. So I don't want you to think, because a lot of times if you're listen to a lot of podcasts, you'll hear one like this and then you won't hear from the person, or they'll just kind of, a few months you might have an episode, oh, I'm back, and then they're not really back and they're gone. This is not what's going to happen here. I am dedicated to Running a Fever as far as I know for as long as I can possibly do it. So I'm going to continue doing it because it means so much to me. So I just want to reassure you with that and let you know that that it's definitely not going away. So, but we are taking a break in the regular release schedule. So you will not see regular releases for a while. So I can read your minds, in case you didn't know. And I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? What am I going to do without 2 new Running a Fever episodes every single week? I've depended on that, and now I won't have it. Well, I'm glad you asked, or I'm glad that I was able to telepathically receive that question from you, because I have, as it happens, a number of ideas on what you can do between now and the time that we go back to a regular release schedule. So the first thing you can do is, if you have not listened to every single episode of Running a Fever, then I recommend that you do so. It's a story. The whole history of the podcast, the whole catalog of episodes is a story. And if you haven't, experienced the entire story, then you don't know the whole story. So when I come in and I talk about something, you don't necessarily understand the journey that it took to get to this point. So I recommend that you go back and listen to every episode, starting with episode 0, and learn the story of Running a Fever. Secondly, if you have not been to the YouTube channel, I think you should go there. Not necessarily to listen to episodes that you've already listened to on the audio podcast, because those are, published on YouTube. But basically you look at the picture and the audio is pretty much the same for most of those. Now, there are some what I call live video episodes, if you want to call them that, on YouTube. Like, for example, my review of the Abeo Active running shoe or walking shoe. That is a video on YouTube that you can go and you can watch me presenting and showing you the shoe and all of these things that you heard on the podcast. There are a lot of, several of those review videos, also recipes when I made something on the show. Those are video episodes. And I've had other video episodes. Occasionally I will just record like the brain. I think the brain chemicals episode, at least one of those was a video where I was actually on camera talking about brain chemicals. There are also videos on the YouTube channel. And by the way, you can get to this at runningafever.com/YouTube. There are videos on there that never appeared as a podcast episode. So if you have just been listening to the audio podcast, there's material that you haven't seen yet. And usually that's because it isn't directly related to what we're talking about here. For example, I have several videos that are kind of reviews of equipment that I use in making the podcast, which this isn't a podcast about equipment or podcasting. So I don't necessarily have that as an episode to a show that's about fitness, diet, and medicine. However, if you like me, you might like my other videos that have nothing to do with health per se. So I've got those, and there's a playlist called Behind the Scenes. I also did a daily vlog for a while just to try it. Some of the people that I have sort of learned from have said, try a daily vlog. Just try it. So I did, and I kept the videos up there. Those were never podcast episodes, and I stopped doing them. I did, 9 or 10, something like that. I stopped doing them because I thought they were boring. I was really just kind of reading my daily stats and that sort of thing. It was kind of like in the earlier days when I was actually recording and walking every day. It's kind of similar to that. So there wasn't, I thought it was kind of boring, but check them out. They're only like a couple minutes long each. So it's not like they take a long time to listen to. And, if you'd like to see something like that in the future, check it out and let me know. I mean, if that is something that people will actually go and listen to and watch, then I might consider doing it again. So check that out. Another thing that you need to do when you're on the YouTube channel is subscribe. If you subscribe, it's one of the best ways to actually find out about new podcast episodes because you will get an email. If you like getting email reminders, you'll get an email reminder that says there's a new podcast, or if there's another video that's not on the podcast, it will show up and give you an email on that. So you need to subscribe, not only because of that, but because it also helps me. There are certain things I can do when I get a certain number of subscribers. So I really appreciate you subscribing. All right. So while you're listening to all the old, and by the way, even if you've heard all the episodes, it might be a good idea to listen to them again. After all, it has been 2 years. But while you're listening, I want you to just kind of mentally think. You might even want to write down some notes if you're in a place where you can write things down and send them to me. Something that I love to get from listeners is feedback. And that's really what I want most for you. If you gave me an offer of sending me money or sending me feedback, I would rather have feedback. I'll take the money, but I would rather have feedback because it's more important to me. It really would help me improve the show and helps me feel like that I'm doing something that really what I want to do is to help you take this journey to better health like I'm doing. So that feedback really helps out. There are a number of ways to give me feedback. You can send me an email, mail@runningafever.com. You can comment on the YouTube channel, comment on the videos there. You can comment on the blog at runningafever.com. By the way, that's the next thing I would recommend that you do is check out the blog on runningafever.com. I believe we have more visitors to the blog than we do to the podcast or the YouTube channel. It's probably the most popular format that I have right now, probably because people find things in searching on Google a little bit easier if there's text involved. But that's slightly different. And by the way, my videos that are live videos on the YouTube channel, they're edited separately from the audio. So you're going to get that extra bonus content by listening to that and watching it. If you go to the blog, same thing. I type those up. It's obviously not a transcript. It's just a real blog entry. So you'll see for every episode, there's a blog entry. And if you haven't been reading those, it's slightly different. It covers the same content, but it's a slightly different format. You might find that you like reading what I'm writing. Next, are you writing this down? There's a lot of homework to do. There's a lot that you can do, even when you're not getting Running a Fever twice a week. Speaking of, if you do like my blog posts, I am a writer, and I write stuff. I write blog posts. I write short stories and fiction, and I have written a philosophy book as well. So I would love for you to read them. I've been writing a lot lately, actually, but I haven't published anything in a while. I think in over a year. But if you go to runningfever.com and click on the resources page, or you can go to runningfever.com/resources. I've taken down most of the sort of Amazon affiliate links that I had there because they're not very useful to me. But I did put 3 links in. Currently, they're only available on Amazon, but very soon there will be available at Barnes & Noble and some other outlets. If you're an ebook reader and use something like Kobo, it'll be available on Kobo and Barnes & Noble and some other places. But at least if you go to the resources page at runningfever.com, you'll see the 3 books that I have available currently. 2 of them are speculative fiction, science fiction, short stories about what I think is an interesting world that I've fictionally created. The other one is a philosophy book, but I think it's accessible to everyone because philosophy is something that we all do. We're all thinking about the meaning of life, right? So I think you might find that interesting. Those books are out there. Go read them and pass them on to other people. So, wow, a lot of stuff going on, huh? Don't we have a lot to do? Isn't there a lot of rich content around Running a Fever? Speaking of writing, I am currently working on a Running a Fever book that's going to talk about the best year of my life, 2018, and the journey that I took during that year. And that is in work. I've got, thousands of words on it, but I haven't finished it yet. It's one of those things that I'm doing more of these days. And I'm a writer. I love to write, so it's really great that I'm doing that. At some point, you can expect that. I'm not going to make that a specific goal for 2020, but I think it's likely that might come out in 2020 along with some other things. So there you go. There you have it. I have broken that down for you, the break that I'm taking. So I hope you understand that. By the way, if you don't, and you want to tell me that you don't, then send me an email. If you have something you want to say about it, send me an email. If you have questions about it, send me an email. If you want to talk about the weather, send me an email. I'm not taking a break from reading feedback. I'm not taking a break from interacting with you and communicating with you. I'm not taking a break from recording, writing, coming up with ideas, any of the things that have to do with the show. The only thing I'm taking a break from is the release schedule. A lot of podcasts out there, very few that never take a break with the same host, especially one with a full-time job. And so that's what I'm doing. And, it may happen sometime in the future, years in the future. It's very possible that I might do this on a more frequent basis. But certainly, I think this is going to improve the show, and I hope you agree. So I know everyone that's still listening as I'm talking right now has the fever. So go out and spread the fever. Spread the fever to other people. That's my final word for you. My final piece of homework for you is spread the fever so other people can catch it, and share the blog posts, share the podcast, share the YouTube channel, share the books, and share the love that you have for your life. And I will talk to you next time on Running a Fever.